Welcome to Swaber's Easy Recipes. We're gonna be making chicken light soup today. The main ingredient: chicken, garlic, habanero, onions, ginger, anise, and some rosemary. We're going to chop the onions first, and then we add all the other ingredients into a blender, and this will be the first blended mixture together. This recipe is very simple and very easy. You would want to blend it and make it smooth. We're making Ghanaian light soup, and light soup can be very smooth at times. This is a recipe that can be used for friends and families. This recipe is very basic and different from how most people do it because of the method in which I use in making this. I use the steaming method where I steam my meat with this mixture, and that makes it more tasty. Add a little bit water before you blend it. It doesn't really matter depending on the kind of blender you have. And this is a very fun meal to make. This is the chicken on fire. Add the blended mixture in there. Make sure the blended mixture is smooth before you put it in there. Make sure you add enough for the recipe. Add some Maggi. It could be no Maggi. This is just the powdered chicken broth. And then you add some salt, at least 1 tablespoon of salt. This is the saltiest part of the meal because I'm seasoning it and I need the seasoning to go deep into the chicken. Yes. And this is where you steam it, slow process. Don't add water at this point because what you want to do is you want it to steam in its thickness. You don't want it to be watery. When it's watery, you don't really taste the seasoning in the chicken. Most Africans love their bones. We love biting into our bones, and yes, this is where the flavor comes from. I added some tomato paste, and the tomato paste is also to help thicken the soup and to add color as well. I added in this part because it just makes it easier, to know how much actual tomatoes you might need. Stir gently. Make sure you get the tomato paste in really well. Feel free to add some water at this point. The meat has been steaming for almost 10 minutes. So yes, go ahead and add some water. It all depends on how much soup you make and will determine how much water you put in and how much ingredients. Yes, this is an eggplant, special eggplants in the area in which I'm in. It's the green eggplant. Normally Asians eat this a lot, but it serves the same purpose as any eggplant you get from the store. I'm adding the eggplant, the habanero, and then whole onions and whole tomatoes in the soup. I'll cover it and have it boil for at least another 10 minutes and let it cook. You'll know when it's cooked when the holes I cut in the onions gets bigger, and also the color of the eggplant changes as well. The tomato tomato skin peels off, and feel free to include some habaneros when blending, but you can leave some in the soup as well. It looks like I add a lot of habaneros to my food. That's because the habanero in this side of the state is not as spicy as others, like Atlanta or somewhere in the south. Yes, I added my blended mixture and stirred it. Wow, this is looking good. It smells really, really good. It smells really good. And the foamy surface you see is from the eggplant. Cover it halfway and let it simmer. I'm gonna cut some okra into two. I'm just gonna slice them into two and make sure that I take off the head and then the tail of the okra. I just put enough because I love okra in my light soup. It just gives it a different taste, and a different texture as well. This is amazing. When my friends come over, they just love this soup, especially in the winter. a go-to soup for me. You know, you can't go wrong with this. I add the okra at this point and I let it cook. Let it do its thing. Yes, in the next 15 to 20 minutes, your soup is ready to serve. This is a very easy soup to make as well. Feel free to serve it. You can eat it with fufu, you can eat it with rice. Some people just drink it, you know, because it's very comforting, especially when they're sick or when you have a loved one that has just put to bed. This is a go-to soup for them. And now we're gonna be making the fufu. Fufu is very simple. We make I buy the powdered form, so I put it in water and I stir it gently and make sure like it has that thick texture that I need. Stir it gently on the fire until it becomes very thick like that. Yes, and keep stirring until you get the texture that you want. I'll add a little bit of water and allow it to do its thing. Stir it gently. Make sure it's very pasty because that's the consistency which you want it to be. Make sure you take your time and ensure it's well done. I'm gonna be using the BPA-free saran wrap and to wrap the fufu, and it's ready to go. Do not hesitate to try this recipe. You can leave your comments, send me messages, and yes, if you're not sure what to do, add comments. Let's keep the conversation going to help one another. You know, there is no right or wrong way of making something. You can only improve it, you know. But this is a very simple recipe. Thanks for watching.